Yes, sir. Welcome. So, this video came by my recommended the other day, and it's similar to what I've been catching up on that show, The Shy. I got people around me telling me to check it out, give it a chance. It's all right, man. You feel me? So, I caught up, and this video is basically what they touched on, like for a little bit in The Shy, and that's basically defund the police. You got a lot of people on your social media feed, wherever it may be, talking about defund the police because it's the trendy catchphrase and whatnot. Every time we catch a heinous act on social media for outrage and public consumption, people want to say defund the police when they're marching and whatnot, but they never think about what if those police officers actually resigned? What are you going to do? You can't call them. Who are you going to call? You got people that might think about maybe they could police their own neighborhood, and that's what they were trying to do in The Shy. And a lot of people don't really understand that if you're put in that position, you might be forced to do the same thing that these officers do that are caught on tape. It just so happened that the officer that's caught on tape in this situation is a black officer. You got all of these liberals, all of these radicals that are running the streets. They're marching, BLM. They're talking about defund the police and all of that, right? They don't respect the authority of a police officer. So if they don't do that, do you think they're going to respect the authority, quote unquote, authority of people that are trying to police their own neighborhood? You're going to get put in the same positions. So if you have to five-finger slap some female because she's obstructing justice, you're going to think that you did nothing wrong. But you're going to have people that are going to be outraged because they're so overly emotional. They're not thinking straight. Everything is about us versus them, but they don't understand the situations that they want to talk about. They don't think about long-term things. They're only living in the now. They only want to be emotional, and then they forget about it the next day. But they're not thinking about this. Bro, if you police your own neighborhood, what are you going to do? What tactics are you going to use when you're going to be dealing with people who are basically savages that do not have respect for the regular police? That's why they resigned. And now you're basically regulated to police your own neighborhood. What are you going to do? What steps are you going to do when these savages put you in the same position? We got this chick. She's a 19-year-old out in New York. I think this is in Harlem. And I'm assuming that the 22-year-old or the dude that got arrested is her boyfriend because it looked like he was trying to reach in for a kiss before he got arrested. So you got this 19-year-old, she's shaped like olive oil, and she's trying to go toe-to-toe with a police officer that's 3 times her size. Let's check it out.
New body cam video tonight released by the NYPD of a confrontation between an officer and a young woman in Harlem.
It comes after viral cell phone video showed an arrest that turned violent Tuesday. CBS 2's Alice Gaynor reports that Mayor Adams is defending the officers.
Several body cam videos released by the NYPD show the chaos during the arrest of 22-year-old.
Now look at this bozo trying to reach in for a kiss. And look at this chick. This chick is shaped like an iron board, and she's going to try to go toe-to-toe with the officer. What does that show you? She has no home training at all, and she basically lacks the simple comprehension that you got to fall back. Whatever happens to you is what you deserve, pretty much.
Body cam videos released by the NYPD show the chaos during the arrest of 22-year-old Elvin James, wanted in connection for an attempted murder. The NYPD says he had a loaded semi-automatic ghost gun on him and was grabbing for his waistband. 19-year-old Tamani Crum walks up to James. From this angle, you see her interaction with the officer. She falls backward to the ground. Here's a different angle. Crum was
Yo, man. Son, the positions that people put themselves in, man, when all of this could be avoided. And then you got a situation in The Shy with that dude Jake, and then you got Kevin, to where they were caught in the same situation. The cop asked Jake for his ID. He basically said, F that, tried to walk off, tried to brush off an officer, and he basically got body slammed, got his ass whooped, and then he got arrested in the hospital. All because he didn't want to comply and show his ID. But Kevin complied, and then Jake was mad at Kevin because he complied, because he didn't want to act like a rebel. And a lot of dudes are going to get caught in that position, bros. What do you have to prove by trying to be a rebel, by trying to be some renegade, some outlaw, going toe to toe with the police officers, when you're basically trying to see the next day, when you want to wake up in your bed instead of some bunk bed in the corrections? People don't think about that. You got a dude walking around that has a warrant for an attempted murder, walking around with a loaded gun, and then you got some bony chick that doesn't know any better, lack of home training. She's trying to walk in and shove the police and leaves him no other option but to slap this chick. Yo, my goodness.
Into custody. This was the cell phone video that went viral, taken just before 5 p.m. Tuesday on West 136th Street, prompting some residents to call for an investigation into the NYPD. The NYPD says Crum interfered with the arrest, quote, striking one of the officers. That officer fended off that interference and struck the woman with an open hand.
Hey, yo, man. Police department said they striked with an open hand. Yo, man, serves her right, bro. Why would you put yourself in this position? And if you're a dude, bro, you're going to get worse than an open hand. You might get suplexed. Honestly, shoulder might be in a sling the next day because you want to go toe to toe with an officer. Oh, man.
The woman was placed under arrest for obstructing governmental administration, remained conscious, and was transported to an area hospital at her request. Wednesday night, Crum pleaded not guilty to that charge and was released on her own recognizance. Her attorney said he was pleased the district attorney decided not to charge her with assaulting an officer or resisting arrest, but
he absolutely used excessive force. We're talking about a 19-year-old young girl versus a grown man who was approximately 3 times her body weight and size.
So now she's a 19-year-old young girl. On one end, y'all want to say a 19-year-old is a young girl, and then on the flip side, you want to say that a 12-year-old young boy can switch over and become a young girl. Glorifying this bozo Dwayne Wade because he wanted to transform his son into a daughter. They're adults, or you should be listening to these toddlers, young teenagers. But now we want to call a 19-year-old a young girl. Which one is it? Who's supposed to know better?
Eric Adams, a former NYPD officer, responded to the video.
Those officers showed great restraint. They didn't discharge their weapons. They subdued him. While they were subduing him, a crowd came and attempted to disrupt the arrest.
He says there's an investigation into what happened, but
if you look at the video, the young lady was inches away from the person who was armed with that gun. That action endangered those police officers.
And she's too foolish to understand that it endangered herself. But people got to understand, we got to stop being reactionary people. We got to be proactive. We got to have some kind of forethought. You know what I'm saying? Even if you get caught up, man, try to make it so you can see the next day. Comply. But, you know, to each his own.
Say another woman was charged for allegedly punching an officer in the head, and another issued a summons for spitting on one. The NYPD also says,
yo, jeez. Yo, bro, it's like we already understand that these chicks is bugged out. And then they're getting raised to hate the police because people around them get arrested for doing things that they could have prevented. The police ain't out here to get you if you about your business. If you getting up every day, washing your ass, brushing your teeth, going to work or wherever it may be, working for yourself, you're not concerned about the police. Only street walkers and bozos get caught up in these stupid scenarios. And then now they want to talk about the police, to defund the police. The police is no better than the people that are out here harming each other. No doubt, but if people don't respect the authority of a police officer, who are they going to respect? But it's enough of that. I'm out.